Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ganji, how long did you work for Senator Cruz?
Senator, I worked for Senator Cruz for 3 years.
Okay. Did you work closely with him?
I would say so, Senator, yes.
Okay. Is it true that Senator Cruz can burp the alphabet backwards?
Senator, I've been instructed not to reveal that.
Is it true that growing up, Senator Cruz had an imaginary friend who his parents actually preferred?
Senator, I have no such knowledge.
Okay. What article of the Constitution calls for checks and balances?
Senator, I think checks and balances inherent in the first 3 articles of the Constitution, which gives to all of them different powers and responsibilities.
Okay. Mr. Peterson, welcome. Tell me how you amend the U.S. Constitution.
Senator, you amend the U.S. Constitution pursuant to the procedure found in Article 5.
Could you speak into that mic, please, sir?
Sorry, Senator. The Constitution is amended pursuant to the procedure in Article 5, and that is a two-thirds vote of both the House and the Senate, and then ratification by 3/4 of the states. There's also a constitutional convention method, but that's never been used.
Okay. Mr. Fowles, how are you?
I'm doing well.
What's the warrant requirement?
The warrant requirement states that any person who is going to be arrested should have a warrant. The police should seek a warrant for that person to arrest them. There are exceptions to the warrant requirement, including exigent circumstances, which are usually followed up in Arkansas with a probable cause complaint and an affidavit and warrant in support of that.
What about to search someone? Do you have to have a warrant?
Yes, that is.
Let me amend that. Does the warrant requirement apply to search and seizure?
Yes, according to the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution, there shall be no unreasonable searches and seizures without a warrant.
And then out of nowhere, this question drops. The witness does what any seasoned professional would do. I've been instructed not to reveal that. Perfect. No denial, just silence. Let the conspiracy theories begin. But wait, we're not done. All right, jokes aside, now we pivot hard, straight into constitutional law. Checks and balances don't live in just one sentence. They're baked into the first 3 articles: separate powers, separate responsibilities, one fragile democracy. Clean, correct, textbook answer. But hold on, because the hearing is just warming up. Article 5. 2/3 of Congress, 3/4 of the states, or the method everyone talks about but nobody's ever actually used, a constitutional convention. History nerds everywhere just nodded in approval. Then we get into the real meat of it: arrests, searches, seizures. The default rule? Get a warrant. But law enforcement lives in the real world, not a textbook. Exigent circumstances, movable vehicles, moments where waiting on a judge just isn't an option. This is where law, safety, and liberty all collide. Here's where things get fascinating. Could a state say, no exceptions, ever, warrant or nothing? Technically, a state can pass stronger protections than the federal baseline, but then comes the boss fight, the supremacy clause, federal law versus state law. Who wins? It opens with the usual formalities: credentials, years of service, professional respect, and then out of nowhere this question drops. The witness does what any seasoned professional would do. I've been instructed not to reveal that. Perfect. No denial, just silence. Let the conspiracy theories begin. But wait, we're not done. All right, jokes aside, now we pivot hard, straight into constitutional law. Checks and balances don't lie here. Maybe. Would it survive a challenge? That's courtroom drama waiting to happen. Just when you think we're ending on dense constitutional theory, a senator gets called chairman. Correction accepted. Status acknowledged. This is why Senate hearings matter, not just for the law, but for the moments that remind us these rooms are filled with humans, egos, jokes, and history in the making. Sometimes democracy debates, sometimes it lectures, and sometimes it asks about imaginary friends.
Could Arkansas decide that it doesn't want to follow the federal rule, that it wants to require a warrant for all arrests and all searches and seizures with no exceptions?
They certainly could, Senator. However, as a prosecutor for many years, I understand that those exemptions to the warrant requirement are important for public safety and for law enforcement safety.
How could Arkansas do that?
Arkansas could pass a law with the state legislature to say that a warrant is required for every arrest that's made throughout the state of Arkansas. And obviously, that would be subject to challenges in both state and federal court.
And if Arkansas did that, why doesn't the supremacy clause overrule Arkansas?
It certainly would be an argument if that was challenged in federal court.
Well, who would win?
I'm not sure, without knowing more facts about how the statute was drafted and being able to examine exactly, the type of legislative interpretation that goes along with that. So without more facts,
Let me give you these facts. You recited correctly the warrant requirement and the exceptions both for arrest and search and seizure. Suppose the Arkansas legislature said, we appreciate the advice, but we're not going to follow it. We're going to require a warrant for both arrests and for searches and seizures, okay? And somebody challenged that under the supremacy clause. Who would win?
I'm not sure that I've ever thought about that in depth, Senator, but I think it would be a strong challenge to that state law, and I think it would be.
What if Arkansas construed its state constitution to require a warrant for both arrest and search and seizure?
I think it would be the same analysis, whether it was a law that was passed by the state legislature or an amendment to the Constitution.
Why couldn't Arkansas? Have you ever heard of the adequate and independent state ground doctrine?
Yes, Senator.
Why wouldn't the adequate and independent state ground doctrine apply there?
That certainly would be an argument that one of the parties could make in support of that Arkansas state law. And again, I think it would go back to legislative analysis and determining all the factors that go into that as to whether that law would withstand the scrutiny from the court.
Okay. Thank you, councilors. Senator Whitehouse.
Thank you, Chairman. Welcome.
I'm sorry, what did you call me?
Chairman.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, you're the acting chair, aren't you? You got the gavel.